big in size, and then it is exactly placed at one of the three main intersection points, or the four main intersection points, and there is a leading line taking it. Okay, so this is the way you compose a picture. If you move 3-4 feet that way or this way, or you tilt the camera in a different angle, the entire effect is lost. Okay, so though the arrangement of the elements is fixed, in the sense I can't move that building somewhere, or nor can I move the bridge anywhere, but by moving myself, my camera, the angle and the height and the thing and the focal length, I can arrange the elements to a great extent to get a very pleasing picture. So that's essentially the composition. And however fantastic your super duper camera may be, ultimately the smarts are here, not in the camera. So you got to really realize the scene, analyze the scene, and then make sure that the things are at the right place. Okay. Next slide. Okay. Now, can you see a frame here? Right. This is a white tiger taken in Hyderabad Zoo. Okay. I mean, hundreds and thousands of pictures are taken of Hyderabad Zoo white tiger. You will every day find a flock of photographers, but most of them are snapshots. Okay. Now here, if you look at it, you can go to the next slide. Can you see the tree branches which form a frame? Okay. They sort of frame the tiger. The tree branch on the left side, the one on the bottom, and the one on the right, they have sort of framed the tiger. So your aim or your view goes into between those dark things, and you see they are not very prominent. If they are very prominent, eye goes there. So they are dark, okay, and they are not very prominent. At the same time, they are sort of framing the tiger in a triangular fashion. Okay, so that way it sort of gives you some sort of a just like a photograph looks very nice in a frame, right? It doesn't look very nice if you just paste it on the wall, because you are giving it a border. You are aiming your view into that. Just like that, you can look for a natural frame in the photograph you are taking. Very common frames are you can make out. Next slide. Okay, arches are a very common frame. Okay, they frame a person inside an arch. A doorway is another very interesting frame. You can, instead of just putting a person against a wall or against a pole where the pole grows through his head to the back, you can put against a door frame and frame him in a door frame. Okay, that you can try it at home. There is nothing required, nothing sophisticated or something is required. So this is a person over there who has been framed in these arches. Okay, okay. Some more tips. Okay, actually, camera, when it takes a picture, it always takes a rectangular picture. You must have known that. That means it's not a square. One side is longer than the other. I don't know how many of you try. Many times the picture will improve if you turn it vertically, the camera. Okay. Human beings, for example, or buildings are vertical in nature unless they're lying down. Okay. So it is not a good practice to take a picture of a human with your camera horizontal. It's better you turn it around 90 degrees. Then it will look much better, because you will cut out a lot of extraneous information, and the size of the person also gives. Okay. Now when the light is low, you can use a flash. Okay. But the very important thing is, flash is only good for 10 feet. You're all engineers, I presume, and you must have studied what is called the inverse square law. Okay. The light drops very, very rapidly. Okay. By about 10 feet, it becomes practically useless. So it's only good for a room. I can't photograph this building with a flash, though you may find many people doing it. Okay, nothing will come. Okay. Now, when I first joined in the Infotech, there was one guy. Somebody told Ashok is very good at photography, and he'll solve all your doubts. So one guy came and he showed me a dozen pictures which were pitch black. Nothing was there. I said, "What did you do?" He told me, "I took photograph of the moon." Well, where is the moon? How did you do this? I used flash. Well, I was very upset, not because he was a bad photographer, because he was a bad engineer to start with. Because he was trying to photograph moon which is 230,000 miles or something like that away with a flash which is this big. And you are thinking you can illuminate the moon from here. So you can do such, people do some crazy things like that. But generally, I have seen people photographing Taj Mahal in the night using flash. I read in magazines in US somebody was photographing Grand Canyon in the night, something like that. They won't work. 10 feet. That's it, period. After that, flash won't work. But within 10 feet, it's very effective. Okay. So let's see the next slide. Okay. Now, I was telling you about this horizontal vertical business. Whenever you're taking a photograph, just turn the camera at right angles, next one, and just see how it looks. Okay. Maybe it gives you a better composition than otherwise. Okay. Okay, so that's one of the things, and especially if you're photographing tall buildings, humans, etc., you can try that. Okay, next. Now, with and without flash, I'm sure you know about this. When you are photographing indoors, unless you are having a very sophisticated camera, it is better to use flash and get something reasonable like that. Okay. Now, some more tips. Don't cut parts of humans. I'll show you what it means. Okay. Now, don't photograph with sun in front. That is, if the sun is behind the subject will become very black. I'll show you an example. Okay. And keep the camera level. This is one common problem people have. Many people can't hold the camera straight like this. They'll tilt it this way, they'll tilt it this way. Especially if you're photographing water, you'll feel water is flowing off somewhere. God knows where it is going. But it looks very unnatural. Water is always level, right? It doesn't look, it looks very unnatural if you tilt it. I'll show you one more example. And one of the things is these days cameras are becoming smaller and smaller. So when you're holding it, there's a tendency to keep your finger over the flash and cover up everything. But just take a small precaution and just see that your finger is covered. Let's look at some example, okay? See this. This is a very bad photograph. I just cropped it to say that a hand is cut off. It looks as if it's been amputated there. Okay? Okay, whenever you are photographing humans, please make sure that all the limbs are there in proper place. If you are cutting a picture, cut it at a proper place, not here or there like this. You can maybe cut it here because you can take a head and shoulders portrait. Or maybe you can cut at the waist, okay? But don't cut at the knees or toes or certain things like that, or one hand, one part missing there. It looks very bad, okay? You may not observe this, but a good photograph should not have amputated limbs, right? And these are very simple things which you can do yourself, okay? Now this is another very common practice people do. There's a friend of yours who comes and say, take my photograph, man, you got a new camera. Okay, let's go upstairs. They go upstairs. Now our Hyderabad sky is always extremely bad, full of pollution and always very light in color. So the camera's meter reads the very bright background and makes your friend into a monkey, black-faced monkey like this. He could still remain your friend or he may not remain, but seeing his photograph. But what I suggest is by taking a little care or by moving him properly, not against a bright sky, you can take a better picture of him. Okay, so don't photograph into the light. Always the light should be at your back. See this camera not clear. It looks like there is some earthquake you may think it's Leaning Tower of Pisa or something like that. No, that's not the right way to hold it. You should always keep the camera level. Absolutely. Okay. If there is a vertical line in a building, it has to be absolutely vertical, 90 degrees to the base. Not somewhere like this, like that, as if it's falling. Right? There are a few small precautions you can take and you can get much big. Okay. Now mentally compose a picture in your mind. Just like when you want to write a sentence, what do? You don't start writing like this. You just think, okay, let me put where is the sentence, how should I frame it like that. The same way when you're taking a picture, you have to think a little bit before you take it. How is it composed? Where is my leading line? Where is my frame? How should I arrange the elements and so on? Okay. Now don't blurt out a photograph. See, many people think when they are taking a photograph, they are in Bonavita quiz. You've seen Bonavita quiz on TV. There, everybody wants to answer first. Okay. So they blurt out an answer very fast. Now, photography is not Bonavita quiz. Nobody is going to give a photograph prize to you if you take the photograph first. Okay, but it has to be a good photograph. So don't be in a hurry to photograph unless, of course, it is some event which is passing by quickly. You got to think a little bit and then you'll get a much better. Okay, think before you click is what I mean about it. Okay. Now, nowadays we are all very lucky because you can see the work you have done. When you take a picture, just look at the picture you have taken in your monitor, the computer, your camera monitor, and you can see that if the face is too black or something like that, you'll immediately realize that you have done a mistake, and it gives you a second chance, at least sometimes, to correct it. Okay? So get into a habit of looking at the picture, and if there is any error in it, you can rectify it and maybe take another one. Conditions permit. Finally, okay. Now, photography is basically half art and half technique. Okay. The picture has to be perfect technical in the sense it has to be, exposure has to be correct. It should not be too dark or too light. At the same time, it should be sharp in focus and so on and so forth. At the same time, the light has to be properly looked at, and then the compositionally, which I spoke about, has to be properly, elements have to be organized. Okay. Now, the easiest thing anybody can do about photography is to buy a camera. Everybody has money and there are plenty of shops. So that's what many people do. First of all, they go and spend some fabulous amounts on cameras, 40,000, 50,000 or whatever it is, and then go get camera. Then they open the box. Then they'll find the manual, which is 350 pages long. Then only the problem comes, okay? Okay man, this is too, little too complicated. Let's put in auto mode and then do something. And throw it in some corner and that's the end of it. And I mean, there's nothing wrong. If you have money, you have the right to buy what you want. Nobody can object to that. But if you want to utilize